Hello everyone, welcome to Law Excellence Daily Hindu News Analysis. Today we will be discussing some important articles that appeared on 12th June 2020. Before starting our discussion, we will look into an announcement. Admissions have started for online live general studies PCM batch, Prelims cum Mains 2021 batch. For any queries, please call to this number 90521 93939. And these are our branches. We have a branch at Ashok Nagar in Hyderabad. We have a branch at Madhapur in Hyderabad. And also we have a branch in Bangalore at Chandra Layout. And we have a residential campus named Sri Gayatri Residential Campus in Hyderabad. Today's personality for discussion is Mutyala Raju IAS, a very inspirational personality. He secured top rank in UPSC Civil Service Examination in the year 2006. He joined Andhra Pradesh cadre of Indian Administrative Service and he secured this rank in his third attempt. Before that, in his second attempt, he got 223rd rank and he was allotted Rajasthan cadre of IPS. He comes from a marginal farmer's family. He was born in a place called Chinnagolapalem, a small island village in Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh, and he belongs to Agnikula Kshatriya caste of fisherman community, a marginal community. In an interview, after he secured the top position, he was asked a question, what is the secret of success? And his answer is that there is nothing which a man can't achieve. You have to believe in yourself, be positive, and prepared to achieve the goal. And he said this is what his secret of success. As usual, our discussion will be categorized into two types. One is deep, which means daily editorial news analysis, and other is targeted news analysis called as TNA. In deep, we will be discussing those articles appeared in the editorial pages of the Hindu. And in targeted news analysis, we will be covering those news articles which appeared on the other pages of the Hindu. And these are the page numbers of the Hindu of Hyderabad as well as Bangalore edition. Please have a look into it. To get notes in PDF format, you can download the link given in the description box. And every day we'll be giving 10 MCQs as part of daily current affairs quiz. You can log into elearn.logs.in and you can write the test at 9:30 p.m. The first article for today's discussion is a case for quiet diplomacy. See, the content given in this article will help us to give a solution if a question is asked in the exam, how to resolve India-China dispute. If that question is asked, we can use this content to provide a solution. Now, how can we provide a solution? Because this article says that, see, India has to adopt a particular strategy to deal with China. What is that strategy? India has to adopt a quiet diplomacy coupled with strong military response. This is the key sentence. So if India can adopt this strategy, it can contain China. That is what the key takeaway from this article. In addition to this, what the article is trying to say is that, see, in the recent times we have seen a standoff between India and China, and this standoff is unprecedented. It is unprecedented because the amount of aggression which China is showing right now, and also the number of troops China have deployed across line of actual control, is unprecedented. And also in the recent times we have seen the opposition and media criticizing the government of India for not sharing information what it is doing with respect to the Chinese aggression across line of actual control. Now the article also mentions that, see, this type of standoffs is not a new thing. This is not the first thing and this is not the last thing. In the future also we will have this type of standoffs. And it provides that in the past also we have seen this type of standoffs. For example, in 2013 we have seen, and also we have seen 2014 standoff at Chumar, and also we have seen 2017 Doklam standoff. In all these standoffs, what the strategy adopted by India is that it followed a quiet diplomacy coupled with strong military response. So this was successful. Now the article is also saying that India should adopt the similar strategy even in the present crisis. That is what the whole essence of the article. Now regarding syllabus mapping, it will be part of GS paper 2 under international relations. It can be asked under India and its neighborhood. Okay, the issue is India-China border dispute, and the dimension is how to resolve that dispute. What is the strategy India has to adopt to resolve that dispute? And the learning objective is to know how past standoffs got resolved between India and China across line of actual control. There is a pattern. What is that pattern? We should know it, and how we can adopt that pattern in the present standoff which we have with respect to China across line of actual control. That is what the article is trying to say. Now we will look into some details given in the article. For example, the strategy which we were discussing before, it was adopted by India in 2013, with respect to the Epsang Plains issue, and also in 2014 also India adopted with respect to this Chummar standoff, and also in 2017, which we call Doklam standoff, India also adopted the similar strategy. See, what the article strongly argues is that, see, information on these type of issues you can't give to the public for debate. These issues have to be resolved with a quiet diplomacy, and India has done this, and it was successful in doing that in the previous instances. So if you provide information on these type of issues for the public, it might create unnecessary rhetoric, and this unnecessary rhetoric will hinder the process of resolving that particular dispute. So it is better you don't give that information for the public to debate on it. This is what the article is trying to argue. But however, it is also cautious that, see, India is a democratic country. It is not like that of China. If you don't provide information, there will be a scope to generate misinformation, and misinformation is more dangerous than providing some or the other information. Right now, what it asks the government to do is that, why can't you provide information to the media and opposition so that there won't be any misinformation? If there is a misinformation, it will be bothering both the government as well as to the public. So rather than going for that, why can't you give some information, a credible information? So this is what the article is trying to say. Opposition needs to be informed regarding what it is trying to do with to resolve the India-China dispute across line of actual control, and also it needs to engage other institutions of the state in resolving that issue. These are the things which the article is trying to say. So I can strongly say that there needs to be some quiet diplomacy. There needs to be some firm military response across line of actual control, which government of India have done in the recent instances. And also there needs to be some sharing of credible information to the media and to other institutions of the state, and also to the opposition, so that there won't be any unnecessary rhetoric and misinformation. The next article for discussion is a better rate. Now the article mentions about a recent milestone which India have achieved. What is this milestone? For the first time, we have seen that number of cases that got discharged is more than number of active COVID-19 cases. Almost, for example, we have 1,46,000 plus discharged cases or the recovered cases, and we have almost 1,42,000 plus active cases. So this is an important milestone which the article is trying to mention, and it also alerts the government. It also wants the government to be cautious, and you should not give room for complacency. Why? Because we are seeing in the recent times there is increased number of positive cases, and also there is this overstretched health resources as well as health infrastructure. So at this point of time, we have to reduce the fatality rates to as much low as possible. So we should not be complacent with the milestone which we have achieved. Now the syllabus mapping is, it comes under issues related to development and management of social sector services relating to health, education and human resource. What is the issue? It is about COVID-19, and the dimension is about increased recovery rate. And the learning objectives is the reasons for achieving the milestone and what else to be done to maintain this high recovery rate. Now we will look into the details given in the article. Yes, we have achieved this milestone, but the success is attributed to the frontline health workers. Because of the hard efforts of these people, now we could have achieved this milestone, where we can see number of cases who are recovered, who are discharged, are more than that of number of active cases. But what is the problem? The problem which the article mentions is with respect to the revised discharge policy. Now, according to this new discharge policy, No longer does a patient have to test negative twice over an interval of 24 hours. This is the new revised discharge policy. And also a patient who is in critical care, only one negative test is sufficient for him to be get discharged. Okay, this is what the new discharge policy. And also what the article is trying to say is that, see, there is no room for complacency. Why? Because we have seen the cases are on rise, and also we have seen there is a stretched health resources. So what to do now? One is you have to make sure that the health system is responsive with respect to the COVID-19 cases. Okay, already it is overstretched, so now you have to make it is responsive. And the second one is there needs to be adequate monitoring of home quarantined people. So if possible, the government can take help of local bodies and other voluntary organizations too. So the next article for discussion is work from home feasible in the long run? Now the article is an interview given by two people, and we will try to extract those points which are important for us from examination point of view. Here we will see the positives of working from home and the negatives involved in this work from home situation. And what the article tries to say is that, see, in the next 2 years we will witness these containments and lockdowns. So obviously in this scenario, what is the preferred option is work from home. So most of the companies are going for this work from home option. So what the article tries to look is that what are the positives involved in it and what are the negatives involved in it. Now regarding syllabus mapping, it comes under GS paper 3, effects of liberalization on the economy, and also changes in industrial policy too. Okay, next the issue is COVID-19 lockdown, and the dimension is change in employment structure and work type. Now the learning objective is the pros and consequences of this work from home option adopted by many companies. Now we will see what are the consequences and what are the pros of this work from home option. See, there are many services which can't be delivered online. For example, teaching can be done remotely, but the quality of a classroom discussion is lost if you go through this online coaching, right? That is one issue. And regarding gender divide, suppose in most of the homes there will be only one laptop or one computer. If that is the case, the male will be given priority over female, and there will be woman discrimination too. So this is one aspect, gender divide. The third one is digital divide. And you know about internet connectivity, it's not like internet connectivity is available throughout India, and most of the rural areas we don't have internet connectivity, and internet connectivity mostly present in the urban areas. So this is one issue which acts as a hindrance to work from home option. And the next one is socialization. What is this socialization? See, a workplace generally gives actual human to human contact. It will try to develop new relations, and also it will result in developing a brainstorming sessions. And this type of things may not happen when you have this option called work from home. So the socialization aspect will be missed out. And the next issue is migration. Now there needs to be supply demand matches, and of course there needs to be availability of jobs to the migrant workers. So this is one issue which will act as a hindrance too. And the other thing is class divide. Whether everyone can afford or whether everyone can have access to the computers or other gadgets which are needed to access these online courses, of course not. So this comes into play, class divide. And the other thing is domestic abuse. For many women and children, the home is the most unsafe place. So now you are forcing people to be inside the home and asking them to work. So obviously it might result more number of abuses against women and children, and also we are witnessing that. So these are some negative aspects of this work from home option. And of course there are also some positives. One is it provides greater flexibility. That is one obvious positive of this work from home option. And the second positive is it provides relief from discrimination and abuse at the workplace. And we know most of the women, they underwent some sort of discrimination and abuse at workplace, so this can be prevented. In addition to this, when people are given an option to work from home, obviously it will reduce the transportational need, so also it will bring down the pollution. The article also provides a solution to address the various issues which this work from home option is having. For example, it proposes something called a hoteling concept. What is this hoteling concept? According to this idea, where people can dynamically book a seat, a cafeteria slot, or a meeting room, and they can use it. So this is what this concept, and this type of models we have to try. Next article for discussion is IIT-Madras top in government ranking. So recently Ministry of Human Resource Development released this National Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF. So according to this ranking, IIT-Madras is the country's best institution in terms of higher education, followed by IISc Bangalore and followed by IIT Delhi. These are the top institutes, and among the universities, first is IISc Bangalore, and the next one is JNU, and third one is Banaras Hindu University. The important point in this article, which is useful from examination point of view, is that why Indian institutions are not doing well in global rankings. This is one thing which we have to understand. Now regarding syllabus mapping, mains it comes under GS paper 2 social justice issues related to education, and the issue is national institutional ranking frameworks, and the dimension is performance of Indian educational institutions. Now important learning objective is we should know what is this NIRF, and the second learning objective is why Indian institutes or universities are not doing good in global rankings. This article mentions that there is some issue called perception. So in global rankings, this perception was given more weightage, and due to this, Indian institutions are not doing well at global ranking. Now we will look into this National Institutional Ranking Framework. It was started in 2015, and it emphasizes on methodology to rank educational institutions across the country. And this ranking promotes competition among the universities and drive them to strive for excellence. That is what the objective of giving ranking, right? Now educational institutions across the country were ranked in 9 categories. For example, engineering, management, pharmacy, medical, architecture, and law. All these categories were taken part under this ranking. Now what are the parameters which the National Institutional Ranking Framework takes into consideration? It takes 5 parameters into consideration. First one is teaching, learning, and resources. TLR we say this. So under this, it tries to look into the student strength, including the doctoral students and faculty to student ratio. So these are some parameters which they take into consideration. And the other parameter is research and professional practice, RPP. Here they'll take into the issues like combined metric for publications and patents, how many research journals are published. This type of things they'll try to take into consideration. The next parameter is graduation outcomes. So and another parameter is outreach and inclusivity. Here they'll try to see how percentage of students from other states, percentage of women, percentage of economically and socially challenged students. So these are the things which they take into consideration regarding outreach and inclusivity. And the other thing is peer perception. So these are the 5 parameters which National Institutional Ranking Framework will take into consideration while providing ranks to various educational institutions that are located in India. India removes export ban on hydroxychloroquine. See, hydroxychloroquine basically is an anti-malarial drug. But India used this drug as prophylaxis to treat COVID-19 cases, especially on those people who are more vulnerable to this COVID-19. For example, the medical health personnel. And in the initial days, US President Donald Trump told this hydroxychloroquine is a potential game changer to deal with COVID-19. However, after that, there are 2 reports, 2 medical journals who published a report saying that this hydroxychloroquine is a useless drug in dealing with COVID-19. This is what the article is trying to say. Now, recently, the government lifted the ban on hydroxychloroquine and its active pharmaceutical ingredients and their formulations. Now, most manufacturing companies which are producing hydroxychloroquine, they can export the product to the other countries, which was not the case before. Now regarding the syllabus mapping, it comes under mains GS paper 2 issues related to health, and also it can be asked under government policies and its decisions. Okay, and the issue is COVID-19, and the dimension is steps to ensure domestic availability of hydroxychloroquine. Now according to the recent government order, Now, manufacturers that are not located in special economic zones or which are not export oriented units, they have to supply at least 20% of their production to the domestic market, so that this hydroxychloroquine will be available in the domestic market. Now, the learning objective is we will see what is this hydroxychloroquine, and also we'll look why was there a ban on hydroxychloroquine exports. Okay, these are the two things which we will see. Now we will look into this hydroxychloroquine. It's an anti-malarial drug which we have discussed before, and it can also be prescribed for patients having rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, right? And it is considered less toxic when compared to the chloroquine. And recently, World Health Organization suggested that hydroxychloroquine will be one of the 4 drug combinations that are being tested in a global clinical trial against COVID-19 to treat COVID-19. So, why India banned this export of hydroxychloroquine before? See, after US President announcement that hydroxychloroquine will be the efficient drug to treat COVID-19, there is a panic buying across the world. Now we have manufacturers who are producing this drug. So obviously they will be selling this drug abroad. So what happens? Now we don't have adequate amount of supplies to meet our domestic requirements. To meet our domestic requirements, India initially banned the export of hydroxychloroquine. Now it lifted that ban. That is what the issue. The next article for discussion is Line Census Method Outdated Expert. This article is important both for prelims as well as mains point of view. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Minister tweeted the results of 2020 Asiatic Line Census. And they said that there is an increase of 28% in the population of Asiatic line when compared to 2015. However, there are some groups of people who say that the claims of central government and state government, the state government of Gujarat, they don't have credibility, because the methodology that the state government is using to conduct line census is an outdated methodology. And the second one, Asiatic lines are being attacked with a virus called canine distemper virus, and this virus created lot of mortality among Asiatic lines in the year 2018. So because of these two issues, so whatever the numbers which these people are claiming is not a credible number. The article also mentions about some biologists who are demanding the government to use the same method used for tiger census in conducting Asiatic line census. For example, the use of camera traps. But there are some sections of the people who say that we can't use camera traps to conduct census for Asiatic lions. We can do that for tiger census because tigers have a unique strips which can be observed through these camera traps, but we can't use this method for Asiatic lions which do not have any unique patterns on their body. Now the syllabus mapping is, it comes under GS paper 3, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation and environmental impact assessment. Very important topic from examination point of view, and the issue is endangered species conservation. And the dimension here is the methods used in formulating the animal census, here lion census. Okay. Now the learning objective is two important things we will try to learn. One is what are the issues in the present methodology, and the other thing is what is this canine distemper virus. Okay, now we will look into few details of this species called Asiatic lion. Of course, it is limited to Gir range. There is no other habitat in India where you can find Asiatic lion. It is a very important thing. And the second thing is it is an endangered species. As per IUCN list, it is treated as an endangered species. And what are the threats to this Asiatic lion species? It is vulnerable to epidemics or forest fires because it is present only in one habitat called Gir range. And the second threat is poaching. However, this is a cause for almost all the species in India, right? And the third one is human animal conflict, and also we have seen this issue recently in the context of an elephant got killed because of food bomb in Kerala. Now we will see about this CDV virus. What is this canine distemper virus? Now canine distemper virus is a single stranded RNA virus, and it belongs to the same family of the viruses that cause measles, mumps and bronchiolitis in humans. And this CDV is a viral disease that affects a wide variety of animal families, for example dogs, foxes, wolves, and also it attack other cats like tigers and cheetahs too. Okay, we will see the last article for today's discussion. Trump targets ICC with sanctions over Afghanistan war crimes case. See, two things are important from examination point of view. So we should know what is this International Criminal Court, what are its powers and responsibility. This is important from prelims point of view. And there is a trend which is useful for mains point of view. Recently we have seen US president is angry towards World Health Organization. Now he is angry towards International Criminal Court. So he is trying to undermine global institutions. So this is one important trend which we can use from mains point of view. Now what the article is trying to say. So recently United States President Donald Trump issued an executive order. And what is this executive order? This executive order tries to authorize some sanctions on the ICC employees, International Criminal Court employees. And who are these employees? These employees are involved in the investigation of Afghanistan war crimes. And okay, it was believed that US army was involved in this Afghanistan war crimes. So now ICC wants to investigate the war crimes that happened in Afghanistan. And also what the article is trying to say is that US also accusing the involvement of Russia in this investigation process. That is the second thing. Now the executive order authorizes the authorities of US to block the assets of these International Criminal Court employees involved in the probe against the US. That is one thing. Now the syllabus mapping is, it comes under main GS paper 2 international relations. For example, effect of policies and politics of the developed and developing countries on India's interests. Now the issue is Afghanistan war crimes, and the dimension is international inquiry into the war crimes. Here we will be knowing about the ICC. Now we will look into International Criminal Court. This is very much important from prelims point of view. This is the world's first permanent international criminal court, and it is governed by an international treaty called the Rome Statute. And India is not a party to the statute, and also US and China, these two countries are also not part of this ICC. Now what is the jurisdiction of this court? So it covers crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity. It also looks into war crimes, and also it looks into crimes of aggression, and it headquartered at Hague, Netherlands. Now this was established in the year 2002. So those cases that happened prior to 202, it do not have any jurisdictions. What I mean is that it can't look into the cases in a retrospective way. Those cases that happened after 2002, only those cases it can deal with. Now there are many limitations with respect to functioning of this organization. One is it do not have its own police force. That is one issue. The second limitation is that it do not have a retrospective jurisdiction. And the third limitation of ICC is that it can only look for crimes committed in the territory of states which has ratified the treaty. It can't go beyond that jurisdiction. So these are some limitations which cripple the functioning of International Criminal Court. Now we will look into the prelims practice question. The first question is, which among the following are the parameters that are taken into consideration by National Institutional Ranking Framework while ranking the Indian universities? We have discussed the 5 parameters which NIRF takes into consideration. Just go through it and please post your answer in the comment box. The next question is direct beat verification. This is a method which is used to conduct census for lions. So it's a method recently seen in news. This method is used for which among the following purposes? Very easy question. Please post your answer in the comment section. And now we will look into the mains practice question. COVID-19 pandemic has changed the working pattern of every sector. In this backdrop, do you think the concept of work from home will be feasible in the long run? Yes, we have discussed this article. We have discussed what are the positives of working from home and what are the negatives of working from home. We have discussed this digital divide, socialization, migration issue, gender divide. So all these things you have to write it here. So with that, we have done today's discussion. So thank you one and all.